the questions that many students ask is, what actions do we take to keep our schools safe?
Well, I'll start. I really think today I did an announcement a little bit and covered some of that, but the biggest thing, the most important thing for our school and our family here at St. Thomas Aquinas is it's everyone's job, not just us two or the teachers or the administrators. It's everyone's job, and it's everyone's job. If you see something out there on social media or you hear something out there on social media or just from a friend, then you need to say something. We've been stressing it over and over. And it worked perfect last week when we had a little incident last week where somebody saw something on social media. They came right into our office, reported it, and we went from there. And so that's the most important thing, because all the conferences I've gone to, you wouldn't realize this, but most people would not think this, but it was over 70%. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it was a high percentage of all the school shootings that have taken place in the United States in the last 10 years. Somebody knew about it. So over 70% somebody knew that school shooting was going to take place or had heard something about it, and they thought it was a joke or something. So the most important thing is for everybody to speak up if you see something, even if it's something little. So that's kind of what I would say.
I'd add to that. That's great information, and also the fact that this is my 11th year here at the school, and our physical security has increased greatly. Now there's only one way in, one way out. You have to go by, usually a police officer up there to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And we'll unlock the door. So from a physical standpoint, I know years ago we used to have a lot more doors open all the time. And like he said, if people here do a great job, if they see somebody in the building they don't know, they'll report it to somebody, and maybe just somebody going to the gift shop or something, or the spirit shop, but just the kids' awareness that somebody could be in the building that's not there. So I'd say that's another safety feature. And also, I've always said that school sits in a perfect area because we're on the edge of Lenexa, the edge of Olathe, the edge of Overland Park. If something were to ever happen here, the response I think that we'd get here would be
incredible,
huge.
Yeah.
So,
and we got Johnson County Community College right next to us. So they have their own police force, and we're in contact with them all the time. They do spot security for us at night. They drive through the parking lot every night around, I don't even know what time, 1 or 2 o'clock, because they have 24/7 security. So they drive through our lot up here. So it's and any visitor comes in, they wear name badge, which that really helps too for us to identify them.
And the camera system, I forgot about that. That's also
we have
so much better than it used to be.
We have an updated camera system where we can zoom in once it's been recorded, so we could actually go into somebody's locker and almost see what they have in that locker. I mean, it's incredible.
And we can even zoom from days ago. When it's recorded now, we can go back and zoom.
Yeah, it used to run out or recycle in about a week. Now it's at least a month or two, so it just depends on how much info we have, but it recycles, but it's a long time now. We could go back 2 or 3 weeks for sure, in a month, and see if somebody come in and said something happened a month ago. So, I think Officer Uppert and myself, we've worked together now for, he said, 11 years, and we pretty much know what to do. We've done this. I've been to many school conferences on safe schools, and I know what you're supposed to do, everything from notifying parents. The real tricky part, if I said of anything, was when something like this happens, and when social media it can be a good thing, but it also can be a bad thing, because social media starts getting going, and so it's hard to sometimes control that. And when you got parents who hear something, we had so many phone calls on this last incident where something happened the night before and they thought it happened that night. We were getting secondhand information, and people thought it was, firsthand, and it was very hard to control that. That's probably the most difficult thing to do, is control that, and parents and what they do. That'd be what I would think the most important, difficult thing is.
Every situation is going to be a little bit different, so it just depends on what it is, what happens. But like Dr. Sullivan said, the problem that I see is we were getting calls, people thinking the situation was something totally different, when none of this stuff, had ever really occurred. But I kind of liken it to the old telephone game when you're a kid. say a word, go around this, by the time it gets through social media,
Yeah.
somebody's armed headed to the school when all it really was maybe a picture of something. You know what I mean? So things just get really,
Definitely got blown out of
Yeah.
proportion. It really did, but it was hard to communicate that with everybody without. So it was very difficult. So
But the good thing was, like he mentioned before, whatever it was, our kids knew about it and they told us.
yeah,
So we
that
were
was
able
one-
to take
that's the most
action.
important thing. Yes.
What happens if like the person that the person of interest is like a close friend and tells us like not to tell anybody about it? What would you say for like students? And
Well, I think that goes back to you got to think of your friend too, because obviously something's wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're thinking about coming up to school, and then you would feel horrible if they really did something like that. And like I said, over 70%, those are the ones that happen, and the person looks back on it, and it pretty much ruins their life because they feel so bad that they didn't say something. We had that school shoot, so many of them at different places, and a lot of them have heard that. So I think you just have to put that, but certain things, I always say it's kind of like that line. So like if you saw a kid who was vaping in the bathroom, I'll use that because that's very prevalent now, as we all know. But that's probably not a security breach in a sense of people getting injured from the student body. But if somebody said, or you saw them with a gun Thursday night and they said they're going to bring it to school Friday, then that's a safety issue, and that's when you need to make sure you come and tell somebody, or you get a hold of the police, or whatever you feel like is most important.
what can like our parents do to ensure that like their kids are safe at school?
Well, just one thing, they got to trust us. We do know what we're doing. We've been doing this a while. We would never have school open if we thought it was unsafe. Okay, so parents have to kind of trust the administration. And the same thing with them. They've got to, if they hear something out there, or see something, their kid, even if it's their kid. I mean, that's happened before. If you look at some of these school shootings, I can't think of the specific one, but one of them was their parents that came forward and said, my son's gone and I know he's got a gun. I mean, so parents have got to step forward too. We all, the way I equate it is one big family, and everybody's got to look out for each other, and including parents. And once again, though, they've got to trust us, but don't be afraid to ask, because we can tell them too what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that, like Dr. Sullivan said, there's certain things. I kind of like Dr. Phil quote. Certain things are deal breakers, and if a friend tells you he's going to take his own life or harm other kids' lives, you have to take action. So I think it's the same with the parent, even if it's your own kid. When it becomes a danger to kids or other people, you got to say something.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I think you covered the different than like if somebody's vaping or
Right.
whatever, skipping school or something. That's a different thing.
What can we do as a society to prevent the next tragedy?
Well, that's a good question. I don't think we have the exact answer to that.
If we knew the answer, we'd be going nationwide.
We'd be talking nationwide. I think it's a combination of things. Just in my own opinion, and this isn't all factual, but we know mental health issues are on the rise, and there's not a lot of money. I think in Overland Park itself, there's not a lot of money for mental health in the state to deal with it. Gun control has got to be a part of it, and I'm not going to get political here, but it's got to be a part of it. There's way too many guns out there in our streets. We had a foreign exchange student a couple years ago, and I'll never forget, because she said to Officer Uppert, she said she was shocked that he was carrying a gun. They don't see gun. Was that Sweden? Where was that? Norway, maybe?
Yeah, Norway.
Norway, but another country, and they don't, their gun control laws are very strict. They don't have shootings like that. So
I was talking to a lady a week ago at an outing. She's from England. Her and her husband. He's here. He's a doctor, and she said over there they don't have shootings. They have some stabbings, but she said they don't have shootings. A lot of the police don't carry guns. It was kind of funny because she said they carry a nightstick, and sometimes they have to tap them on the head with it.
So
I thought that's funny.
Like I said,
tap them on the head.
There's no magical answer, but it's been asked because of the recent one. Was that Houston? The down by Houston, the school shooting, and the kids got involved. And I think it's really your generation's going to, as you grow up, you're going to have. It's sad that we even have to worry about this. Quite frankly, I never would have thought. I see a politician on TV talking about keeping kids safe at school and terroristic acts and stuff like that as their platform. It's sad that you guys are going, you kids are going through it. I wish I could say it wouldn't happen, but we realize if you start saying it's not going to happen here, be careful, because you better be prepared at any place, any kid. We just have to always be on it. And I think the most important thing is we have to make sure we got 950 kids in this building. Every one of you and every kid in this building needs to have an adult relationship. And I'm talking about somebody needs to know that kid and be able to talk to them if they're having issues. And it's not just our counselors. It should be every teacher in this building ought to have a relationship with one of those kids, and they should feel comfortable coming and talking to them. And then same thing with parents and you guys. I mean, so the same kind of idea.
Yeah, were you the one telling me there was it Blue Valley or somebody, they'd have a list of the kids in the school, and if they went through the list and no teacher, nobody really knew that kid, then those were the ones that
then they go take a look, try to
get to know them, because everybody needs to.
That's a really
Like we know names of kids.
It would make me sad to think there was one kid out there that does not have a teacher they feel good talking to. Trust.
What's one piece of advice that you have for the students of Aquinas about about a school safety emergency?
Take it serious. That would be my number one thing. Take it serious, because that's why you rehearse, because every time we do something that we see little problems, same thing with a fire drill or a tornado drill, you see things you need to fix and clean up, and so you do that. I mean, so it's you see maybe that door didn't lock properly or whatever, so take it serious. That'd be my number one.
I guess mine would be, if we're going to get help here for you guys, but as young adults, you still have to make your own decisions. So kind of like what they say, if something's going on in one part of the school and you can get out, get out. If you can, if it ends up you have to lock down, but and then at the end, if there's no other way, don't just lay under a table. You know what I mean? Make sure to fight, because it's it's your life, and we can't be everywhere. So try to use some. You guys are young adults, and unfortunately, like he said, we shouldn't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's sad that we even have to think you three here know how to do a lockdown and what you're supposed to do. I mean, when I was in high school, you didn't even dream of doing stuff like that. I mean, and so it's sad that we have to worry about that in schools, but it's the real thing. So
that's all the questions that we have.
That's it.
Dear.